Are we live?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. Great to have you guys. So today I think we have all the team members, at least like the three team members here from Kryptos. So we will kind of go through what we've been up to lately and what's happening in the industry. Unfortunately, we only got 20 minutes now before our next meeting. So let's just jump on it and quickly go through what's happening in the space. What's the latest news, Sina?
I think the latest news is Clarity Act right now. Everyone is talking about Clarity Act, what is happening with it. The whole market is basically acting nuts. And yeah, last evening I was just looking at the charts and how everything is performing, and I was like, I am uninstalling everything.
Uh,
So yeah, everything is just a bloodshed right now. There's a lot of ups and downs with the regulations. People are unclear. The confidence is really low. But one thing that I see is like yeah, a few years ago when we were talking about the compliance side of things and people don't used to take it seriously. I think yeah, that was like we going ahead of the race and saying that okay, this is the reality. So now, yeah, when people have to accept it and regulators are imposing that in various different ways, it's kind of not coming in a good way for the market overall. What do you think, Akash?
Yeah, for sure. I think there has been a lot of progress in the regulation side in terms of how the compliance going to work out for CASP. When you talk about like EU specifically, they have started way early, and then everybody else is following. It's being applied in India. It's been applied in US. There are various different kind of like protocols which are coming in. How people gonna report their taxes, how the enterprises gonna report their users, and this is something I think it is creating a major gap in the market where various different applications can come in, build over whatever is present in the market, and then eventually like present a good solution out of it.
yeah,
So
I
I
think
think this is something where it is going. Yeah, Sukesh.
Yeah, I think Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, he's probably at Capitol Hill in the US trying to get this Clarity Act passed right now. Because there is only, I think, like 1 week or 10 days before the Congress goes on break in the US. So they're trying to push it. But I'm not sure what are the odds looking like on Polymarket, like 40% still or higher?
Yeah, close to 40% right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm kind of sure that he has a lot of say when it comes to these regulation in US, and if he's pushing that, that actually means a lot.
I mean, he
So that's
lobbied.
already a everything. But yeah, something I think what interesting will be like how we are approaching towards all these regulations and how we are basically shaping our own business and helping already a lot of finance leaders, compliance leaders. So maybe Akash, you'll be more in trenches, so give some light to people like how we are actually able to do it.
Yeah, so previously, like when we started, there were no these kinds of regulations in the market. There were just like enterprise doing their accounting, people reporting upon their side. But now, as enterprises are going forward with the CARF and other regulations, so we are building our own whole infra layer for CARF reporting, so that enterprise can get onboarded over there and then do user reporting according to the CARF compliance. So this is something that we have been building, and this is something I think it's a need in the market where enterprise is gonna come in and then they're gonna jump onto these applications and start doing their CARF compliance. So yeah, we have been working upon that for quite some time, and now there are different regulations gonna come in. So we are trying to support each and every jurisdictions wherever these compliances are applicable. So I think Shukesh can shed more light on that.
I
He
think
has been talking to various different customers.
yeah, exactly. Coming to that, I think the most interesting part right now for anyone who is listening is, Sukesh, tell us something that people don't usually know about these regulations. Something that is like new to everyone and people usually underestimate us. Yeah, we talk to a lot of people, we talk to a lot of finance leaders across various countries. So give something out today.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, see, I think the way the industry is going right now, I think regulation across Europe, outside of Europe, US, everywhere, I think it's taking shape at the moment. I mean, a lot of people see it as a negative, but I think for a business like ours, it's really positive. But also, I think for the whole industry, I think at the end of the day, there's going to be some turbulence, but we're going to see a huge plus at the end of the day. But talking with people in the industry with the latest regulations and the big thing that happened in EU last month with the MiCA regulation going live, the number of crypto service providers, which is like exchanges, on and off ramps, platforms, used to be like more than 3,000 plus, and now it's like close to 300. So it's a drop in like 90% drop. So I think it's becoming more stringent. Like now these platforms have to have really good structures in place, policies in place to make sure the end consumer is not getting screwed and not getting scammed. I think that's the key thing. But also the other aspect of this is like the finances or the asset separation. Usually like there were no regulations where like some exchanges were even mixing their private funds or like the organizational funds with the user funds. But with this new regulation, that can't happen anymore if you want to be a legit business. So you need to have really good accounting and bookkeeping, back office practices, which ensure that everything like all your books are auditable, all your customer funds are separate from your operational business funds. So I think that's a huge win for the industry, and we're already seeing the outcomes of this with exchanges like BitMart, AscendEX, BitMEX, all exiting the market, basically liquidating their assets right now. And yeah, I can already see like I have a first-hand experience right now with BitMart. I have a couple of accounts that I manage, and then now they're just stuck on BitMart. They're not processing withdrawals anymore. And the people that you have contacts with in Telegrams, they're just like gone. No one's responding anymore. Yeah, but I think we will see more and more of these tier 2, tier 3 exchanges, maybe some of tier 1 as well, exiting the markets. I think we will start to see consolidation and maturity in the industry. So I mean, the business leaders that we speak with are both in a way like excited that they will see some consolidation and new user onboarding but also they know that it's a huge OpEx cost right now for them. The costs have increased significantly. Whether it be the manpower costs for compliance purposes, but also like the back office costs so there's like so many regulations now. You have travel rule, you have AMLs, you have CARF reporting, you have DACH reporting. So it's like a lot of regulations and requirements on these exchanges. And someone was asking me yesterday, a dear advisor, like, why don't you start a CASP of your own? And I was like, no, we don't have the money to do that. It's going to cost quite a bit. So I think it's good and bad, at least for the short term. But I think in long term, I think it's going to be a huge win for the industry.
I think it's like traditionalizing the decentralized world now, because everyone was doing whatever they were feeling, and now there is a regulation who is just coming in and yeah, basically disciplining everyone and saying like, okay, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can just do whatever you think. And especially like with BitMart, obviously the accountability part is what every exchange is posting as their strategic decision to cease the operations, which is a very nice word to say while closing. But overall, yeah, everyone knows this is how it's gonna be. The liquidity lies in the Western markets, and the regulations are coming in the Western market, and it's eventually gonna spread out to all the other jurisdictions. And it will be a tough place to exist, and rather than going into a whole loop of scrutiny, it's better to, pivot and venture out to do something else.
But do you think so actually this brings me to my next point about what's up with Kyle Samani posting about taxes and looking at the RWAs now. I think it's kind of like a point in time where crypto tokens as an industry, I think it's kind of disappearing, and more RWAs and real world assets are coming on chain, and it's like getting into DeFi. You can use them as collateral. It's unlocking whole new business models that were not possible. Maybe I think that's one of the reasons like Kyle was looking at it. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, Akash, what do you think? Big Solana developer owner talking about compliance now, and they
Yeah,
were like super into meme coins at the time.
yeah. There is always that phase in the industry, I think, where you do when you start, you do something else, you do n number of things, and then there is a consolidation part where government's gonna step in, start doing their own thing. That is happening in the AI field as well, that is happening in the crypto field as well, that you now have to be compliant, now have to go away from your traditional n number of businesses and then consolidate on what exactly is possible within that particular compliance thing. So this is something I think Kyle also suggested, like, okay, so I'm gonna start jumping into this particular kind of infra that is also like it's a bridge between the real world and the crypto world as well, I feel. And wherever that there bridges, there is a lot of consumers that are coming in because of compliance. You got that meme coin business shutting down, one of the reason is that, and then you have the real world assets gonna come in where the actual part is government's gonna step in, banks gonna step in, and then crypto world gonna step in and become a consolidated infrastructure, and the compliance gonna play hand in hand with that. So I think this is where the whole industry is heading towards.
Yeah, I like his vision though. Like he wants to bring like the whole board management, shareholder management, distribution, yeah, everything on chain. Like I think it's going to be exciting. Like voting, like people voting on chain and making decisions transparently, and you get yeah, share distributions or whatever. I think share splits, all of that. I think it's going to be exciting to do everything on chain. But also, like, it questions me, like, there is still no regulation on, like, whether the traditional equity assets, when they are, like, tokenized, will they still be treated as securities or will they be treated as tokens? I think that part is, like, still a bit gray area, in my opinion. But, yeah, I don't know. We have to see how the regulation looks at them. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, that aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I think
accountants started to discuss. Yeah, so no, yeah, accountants are discussing upon that, like how security is gonna be treated, whether it's gonna be a token where tax is a bit different than what it is on securities, and this is where like all kinds of assets, wherever like there can be land, there can be a equity, there can be gold. So these kinds of assets are treated differently, and the clarification is required on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
no, for sure.
What are your thoughts?
But I mean, so there will be a lot of new regulations and rulings regarding different kind of asset classes being treated in certain way, and that will be also differentiating based on different jurisdictions. There is a lot of streamlinedness has to come in the part, because there are a lot of underlying things in the crypto, and this is just a start of, it's gonna start with the accountability part, which is just going in, and then it will be going towards the details and verification of each and every transaction. So that's how it's done right now in the traditional banking space. And I think overall industry will have their own narrative. It can be on-chain shareholders voting. It's like the same thing, same accountability aspect, just given the Web3 version of it. So I think that's gonna be there, but overall, it's gonna be more like, the traditional accountability and verification type of things for every kind of asset classes. Equity getting treated in the tokenized way will is a gray area right now, because we are now getting habitual of looking everything from the compliance angle, and everyone just wants to look. I mean, you won't be thinking twice back in 2019 about this, because there was no one actually asking, yeah, what's the source of it, or how did you get this money, or whatever you did with this money is it was okay and back then in that world. But with the whole that's actually that answers a lot of questions. That is like the whole mindset has changed in a way that you have started thinking like, is it compliant enough? Will I get screwed for this? And how will I justify if someone asks someday, like, is it a right investment I did? Um, I think for that or these questions, I think that's where we come in. We basically tell you how to actually do the transaction labeling and how to justify it in the reporting part. But yeah, that's how it is. But yeah, Akash, you have been doing a lot of marketing recently for the developers and from the data standardization. Tell us something. What did you find out in the recent days?
Yeah, it's a very technical and difficult problem to solve in crypto industry, where you have a various different kinds of transactions coming in from different various protocols. Some exchanges doesn't even provide data, and some do, but it's half-baked data. So it's like kind of like a weird problem to solve where you have no control over the data because it's coming from somebody else. And when you don't have that control, you try to fill up those gaps. And these compliance applications that gonna come in the future for like asset reporting, for your proof of funds reporting. So all these kinds of applications gonna need a data layer where they can get a high quality standardized data, and then they can use that data to make those reports. So we are opening up our API endpoints, and I have already have started pitching it out in the market that okay, this is a standardized data that we provide, and we have been doing this whole data formatting in our accounting application for more than 5 years now, and we know each and every scenarios that gonna play in the crypto industry in terms of how protocol works, in terms of how exchanges works, and we use that data, and we are gonna sharing that data to you, and as a developer you can just use that data and start building those reports and start making compliance applications. You can even go further, use AI over it, do your own accounting, manage your own portfolio, and everything in between. So this is called Kryptos Connect, and maybe we can share the link in the description later on so that everybody can go and refer to it.
Yeah, I think you can see it on screen now. So just go to docs.cryptos.io, and maybe Kyle, if you're listening, so go here, maybe just send this to your cloud, and then it should build you the application that you're looking for. Cool, guys. I think it's about time we wrap up for today. So before we go and get back to making crypto successful and kicking the competitors, let's end up with one key thing that you guys are working on in your own areas this particular week, and how it's going to help out our users and wider crypto ecosystem. So yeah, go ahead.
So, no? Yeah, so my team and I, we are working on quite a bit of things. So we have been working upon, I think I recently posted about it, that we are doing revamp our backend, which is something that we are trying to scale our infrastructure to a level where we are supporting 100,000 transactions to 1 million transactions with almost like real-time feedback for accounting and balance calculations. Then also, we also have our data platform, which is Kryptos Connect, that we are gonna make it live. It's already live. You can just start checking it out. But I think we're gonna make an official announcement later on for everything and what it can do after the our infrastructure is live. And overall, I think that is something that I have been working upon for quite a bit of time. And there is also one other platform that we have, which
Yeah,
is for
don't give
CARF
away
reporting.
everything, man. Yeah. But I think, yeah, just to say, like, yeah, we are revamping the infrastructure, like, to scale to millions of users and to support millions of transactions. So, yeah, the whole industry benefits from that at the end of the day. Maybe, Sky, do you want to add something?
Yeah, from my side, what I'm doing is yeah, I'm working on a couple of good partnerships that will help our current user base, especially from the B2B side. So yeah, bringing in and reaching out to more and more business leaders, and especially like from my personal side, what I have changed is like I've started going out and talking to more and more people on Twitter and LinkedIn. So that has been going really fun now. I'm kind of enjoying all the comments and the kind of sometimes a rage to some of the people that you, especially the ones who are creating a lot of chaos in the industry from a significant point of time. So yeah, I mean it's fun, and that's where like I also figured out like going out and talking more about the project actually adds up because we are always building in the trenches, and we don't usually interact with more and more people out there. So yeah, people like to talk and know about what we are building, and I think that was something missing. So yeah, that's changing. That's changing, and I think these kinds of changes are actually aligning with our industry is also changing. So anyway, accountability is coming more and more here.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah, I think just to wrap up, well, we will do more of these sessions in the coming days. We'll bring more guests outside of Cryptos as well. And if you haven't already subscribed or followed us on your socials, do that. And we will try to bring more exciting news about the industry and people that are building and driving this industry as well. So thanks for tuning in today, and have a good day wherever you are in the world. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye.